This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and somebody who's missing by the name of John DiNallo.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, Karen. Hi, how are you? It's just the two of us.
I'm doing
today.
fine.
That was a song, just the two of us. Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Welcome to What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. I am definitely Paul Seaburn today, and I'm here with our co-host, media mogul at NewClevelandRadio.net, Karen Hale. Oh, excuse me. I lost my breath there. What's going on? It's the weather. It's the weather. We were just talking about this before the show. Today started out like it was rainy, then it went beautiful. Now it's overcast again. It's typical Cleveland weather.
Yep.
Wait a minute and it'll change. I guess that's what everybody always says about Cleveland weather. So other people have those problems too, but we are that's a hint that we are in the we're broadcasting from Cleveland, actually from Northeast Ohio. And it's just the two of us, as I said. John DiNallo, my sidekick and host of What in the World of Sports, is not here. He's having technical difficulties. Who knows what they might be? User error or internet or gremlins. We don't know. Might be ghost, might be Bigfoot, might be, he's John did have some negative things to say about Bigfoot last week. I don't know if you remember. He was very skeptical about the existence of the big hairy fellow, and John does live in near the woods, just like we all do. It could be Bigfoot worked his way over to John's neck of the woods and pulled a cord or something.
Oh, maybe Bigfoot is holding him down.
Holding him down. Oh,
yeah, he can't even turn on his computer.
Oh yeah, well he's sending that aura out.
Yeah, you got it.
There's a big for you paranormal fans out there. There's the big Mothman Festival is this weekend down in Pleasantville on the West Virginia Ohio border, where the Mothman incident occurred in 1965, I believe. So a couple of my friends in the business are speaking down there. So they're busy driving from Dallas, Texas to West Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah, three old guys. They're just sleeping and drinking coffee and stopping at the bathroom. That's what they're doing.
Okay.
So anyways, we better get right to the real reason why everybody is tuned into What in the World, I hope. And that is our weird news. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. We're here every week on Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're listening to us live, thank you for doing that. We always enjoy that. If you're listening to us in the future, I'm glad to hear we made it a couple days past Tuesday. If you want to find out how to download us, visit newclevelandradio.net. There's a bar across the top. Somewhere in there it says podcast. Click on that. Find my name. That explains how to download What in the World for free, by the way. And then take a look at all the rest of the great podcasts Karen has at New Cleveland Radio. Something for everybody.
You got it.
And that's right. That's no lie. So we haven't seen John here yet. Let's get started. Give a quick recap here and see what we'll be talking about today. You know how much I love weird food. The world's worst idea for a popsicle. Wait till you hear this one, Karen, and everybody out there. If you like popsicles, this may not be the story for you. Does anybody like popsicles? I guess people still do.
The only time I've ever really enjoyed a popsicle was when I've had a really bad sore throat.
Oh yeah, there you go. I think we're going off on a tangent this early in the show. This is interesting. I think popsicles were replaced by those push-up things, the kind of like a popsicle in a plastic sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what those were called, but it seemed like those kind of replaced the popsicles and the stick. Although if you go to a convenience store that has an ice cream section, they usually have a lot of those bars and ice cream bars and stuff on a stick. And they always they generally have popsicle. Anyway, we're going to talk about the world's worst idea for a popsicle. World record that the Godfather would like. Oh, wait till you hear this one. Another food story. Bunch of stories this week on robot overlords. The robots are trying to take over the world. And maybe I can help you stave them off, at least in your neck of the woods. There's a church in Japan with a really unusual way that you can get your prayers to the whatever God it is that you're praying to. Wait till you hear this. We have a story about Ty Cobb's teeth. Not the lawyer Ty Cobb, who's in the news recently, but Ty Cobb, the baseball player. Terrible idea for a soft drink. Oh, this is another, but we're big on terrible ideas this week. And some ghostly world records. I love world records, and I love the paranormal. This brings the two of them together with a castle. One of them is a castle with the most ghost in a haunted castle. And speaking of ghost, he has appeared. There's John DiNallo. Hi, John.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Karen. You never know.
Hey, he appeared as a Browns.
Yeah.
Oh, for those of course. This is Browns week.
Okay.
I was going to say,
get ready to play the Jets on Sunday at home. So I'm sure we'll have a little bit of dialogue about that. But hi, folks. And hey, how about that? Did get connected. So that's great.
Just in time. John looks like he was shopping at the Browns store. He appears to be a brand new Browns hat, brand new Browns shirt. I think the tag is still on that shirt, John. You better check.
Well, I did check. I know I don't want to look like Minnie Pearl, with half the hat on there, right? So,
we're showing our age.
But it's new gear, though, right? Exactly. People our age.
Showing our age. That's right. Okay, well, John, we already updated everybody on what we're talking about today, so it'll be a surprise for you.
Oh, good.
But believe it or not, I was just about to mention that the Browns did win over the weekend. Everybody in Cleveland is celebrating. Obviously, John is celebrating. John hasn't stopped celebrating since Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And I heard a rumor, John, and it seems to me that this is too early in the season for you to do something like that. But I heard that you sold your soul to the devil in order to get that victory at the last minute.
Now,
I'm surprised that you didn't wait at least until the playoffs or the Pittsburgh game to do something like that.
It would be a sad commentary if I sold my soul for just one NFL victory. You're right about this, Karen, of course, because, if I'm going to sell my soul, they got to win the Super Bowl. It could just,
got it.
The devil needs more than your soul, John. The devil needs a kidney. The devil needs, but if the Browns are in the Super Bowl, you're going to tune in and you're going to see John with only 9 fingers, 1 kidney, possibly an ear missing, because he will definitely work out a deal for the Browns to win.
Yeah, I just, it's in my DNA. It's in our family's DNA with the Browns. So
there you go. I think that's
yeah.
It comes with it. You get it from drinking the water in Cleveland. So I have an interesting. This was a lead into a real story. I have an interesting Browns fan that I bet you none of you are aware of, and this person was in the news last week, and she'll be in the news for the next few weeks, and you'll find out why. And I do have a photograph of her, but it's the new Prime Minister of Great Britain. Her name is Liz Truss, and I have a photo of Liz, and it's a very appropriate photo. That's not it right there, but this one, there we go. So they're very nice looking.
Wow, a brown
lady.
shirt.
She is wearing, Liz Truss, Prime Minister. Now, she's not Prime Minister in this photo. This photo was taken in 2018. John may recognize this game, but she was a minister at that time, not the Prime Minister. She's wearing a Browns jersey, and she is at the September 20th, 2018 Browns game between Cleveland and the New York Jets. John, what's the significance of that game? Do you remember?
No, I'm trying to remember now because I was trying to make out who was on the field, but it's the Jets. And I tell you what, that was the game that Baker Mayfield won. Is that the game?
His debut? That's right. Made his debut, won the game, first game in like 2 years that the Browns won.
Right.
And
Right.
there is the future prime minister. Not only is she wearing a Browns jersey, she is also eating a kielbasa sandwich. Now,
Kielbasa or bratwurst, either or, right?
holy, it looks like kielbasa to me. That's what I'm going with.
Well, now, how did you get that photo? How did you get that photo of her?
It was on. I found that on the internet.
Wow.
Somebody on Facebook posted it that she was a big Browns fan.
Wow.
And, yeah, really. I'll tell you what. Prime ministers haven't been lasting too long in Great Britain the past few years. If she loses her job in the next few months, we ought to make her, honorary mayor of Cleveland or governor or something. That's probably the highest position I can think of who's a Browns fan. I don't think any of the recent presidents have been Browns fans. So anyway, I'd make her king. I'm not particularly fond of the new king, so that'll make her king. A Browns fan, perfect king for England. So there you go. She looks better in her jersey than you do in yours, John. I'm sorry to say.
I would agree with you 100%.
But the hat does it. So anyways,
Right,
so speaking of food, speaking of kielbasa, something that goes good with kielbasa is dumplings and pierogies, which is what we call them in Cleveland. Japanese beverage company, this just came out this week, has unveiled a new flavor of soda, and it's dumpling flavored.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's, if you don't believe me, here's a photo of the bottle. Now these are fried dumplings. This is apparently the way they like to eat their dumplings in Japan. According to the story, most people who have tried it hate it, which I think, the problem is they're calling them dumplings. If you call them pierogies, people in Cleveland would give up drinking beer and water and drink nothing but pierogi soda. We love our pierogies.
With that, Paul.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, perfect for the Clevelander on the go. You pull up to your favorite pierogi restaurant in the morning, grab yourself a couple of bottles, or I'm sure it would be served in a cup, like at Dairy Queen, and they pour it in the cup, put some whipped sour cream on top. What a combination! You show up for work with with pierogi breath. It's like you went to a wedding right before you went to work, a Polish wedding. And then I can just see this. This is a perfect drive-through thing for Cleveland. Just like I forget what what they call it at Dairy Queen, but they cut up little pieces of cookies and things. Cut up little pieces of kielbasa, mix it in with the pierogi.
It would be a blizzard, right?
A blizzard. There you go. A pierogi blizzard with kielbasa.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I even have the name for the restaurant that's going to serve with the fast food place. It's going to be McStashes.
Well, I mean, that would be Polish, obviously. That would be Polish.
Exactly. Yeah. So I could just so they said, here's the deal. You're gonna end up with bad breath no matter what. But they said that this Japanese version of these dumplings, the smell is because it's actually the base is a cider of some sort, and not only does it have the dumpling flavor, but it also has chili oil, vinegar, soy sauce, garlic, and ginger all mixed together. The restaurant reviewer that tried it said that you should open the bottle outdoors. That's how bad it smells. I mean, I would, with that combination, not only do it outdoors, but don't stand near an open flame, because that just doesn't sound like a good combo. And it's carbonated. Not only that, it's carbonated. So people who drink it, next thing you're going to be belching. You don't want to be vaping while you're drinking one of these, because that's going to.
Bad combination, Paul. Bad combination. Not to say the least.
I can just So I just imagine having this on the Starship Enterprise. So here's Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock, and all of a sudden there's an explosion on the deck, and And Kirk asked Spock what happened, and he said, "Well, it's Mr. Sulu. He was drinking one of those dumpling sodas, and there was a short in the control panel, and poof, he's gone." Maybe not. I don't know. So, anyways, Japanese dumpling soda could be something we could try in Cleveland. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, so I mentioned, John and Karen, that I'm going to be talking about robots on this show. So here's the first robot story for the week. Target announced that they're installing manicure robots. This is for you, Karen, and John maybe too. I don't know. Manicure robots in 6 stores as a test around the U.S., which uses artificial intelligence and 3D technology, which sounds pretty impressive. This is what it looks like here. To calculate the size and the shape of a user's nails, then it paints them automatically, one at a time in under 10 minutes for only $8.
Really?
So, yeah, under $8. So you put your hand in this machine over here. It's made by Clockwork. That's the name of the box. It's just a very nondescript box with a little hand holder at the bottom. And you slide your hand in, and then that little gizmo comes down. I think I have a picture of this. It actually locks your hand in there, locks your fingers in there, so your fingers don't move. And it squirts the polish on there. And then you have to wave your hand around, as the ladies do when they get their nails polished, so that they dry up. For $8 more, to make it more realistic, there's a voice box in there, and it will tell you gossip about some of the other customers that it has.
Hey, I like that idea.
I did. John didn't. It looks like John disappeared here.
He disappeared. Yep.
Not to be outdone, Costco is going to have a volume version of this where it'll do all 10 of your nails for half the price.
Okay.
So what do you think, Karen? Would you try something like that?
I think I would try it. I mean, you're not getting a manicure, you're getting your nails colored.
Technically,
so,
technically that is.
But I like the idea of it, and I would love to see it really work well. Yeah.
There's a lot of said it had a lot of different colors. I suppose you can pick with the color that you want. And $8, that's to me, that's
not bad. Yeah.
Right. I'm a little hesitant to turn my hands over to a robot. I don't even like putting my hands in those hand dryers in the restrooms. I said, who knows where they get the air from those things? I'm not sure.
Oh, I never thought about that.
That's right. And then, it could clamp on your hands, steal your watch, suck the ring, to turn that blowing into a suction real quick when you're not paying attention, pull all the rings off your fingers, and then who are you going to blame? You're going to come out and you say to your spouse, I lost my rings in the restroom, to the blow drying machine. Nobody's going to believe that. So I don't trust robots. I'm not a big robot truster here.
But have you ever noticed when you put your hands under it, how it like sucks at the skin? Your skin looks really flabby.
Oh, I think there's cameras in there. We're going to get to this. We're going to get to another story like this later. But I can easily see where they put more intelligence into these things to get more information on you. You go to a restroom in a store, like a Target, for example. Yeah. And you use the hand dryer. They find out stuff about you. Maybe you don't have a watch on. Well, all of a sudden you hear of an announcement over the loudspeaker, Target sale on watches.
Right.
Just as you're walking past the counter, there's stuff going on that we don't know about that is mind control and will allow artificial intelligence and the robots to take over. Now, having said that, I wouldn't do this for my nails, maybe toenails, but I don't know if I could lift my leg up high enough to stick it in. But I would definitely, if they had a home version of this, I would get it for home and not for my nails, but I would use it at Christmas time to put the icing on my Christmas cookies. Wouldn't that be a great way to apply it?
I like that too.
Draw little snowmen and Santa faces.
Sounds good to me.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Okay. All right, I'm going to take that scary photo down for a second here. So here's another robot story. So just what I was talking about, that the robots are taking over. Civil liberties groups around the country are objecting to, and you can relate to this because we've talked about this before. Amazon bought iRobot, which is the maker of the Roomba. And I know Karen has a Roomba that she uses. I and the lovely Donna have a Roomba that we don't use, but we used to be regular users of the Roomba. So they're afraid, they're predicting that Amazon will put artificial intelligence into their Roomba, which they now own, to scope out your house while it's going around vacuuming. It's checking out to see what you need. You know, do you need a new TV? Do you need new shoes? You know, it's down low enough. Do you have better polish for your toenails? Your floor's dirty. Maybe you need a higher powered Roomba. It collects all that. Next thing you know, when you log onto your computer, you start getting all those messages up there saying, hey,
it's interesting you should say that, because there is a competitor for the Roomba that I have represented in my weekend job. And this thing does have a camera in it, and it feeds information back somewhere
to the cloud.
Yes, it does. And so the whole concept of this one is supposed to help give you data where the real dirty spots are on your floor, how to clean them. Yep.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And if you believe that, send $10 to me.
Hey, I just told people what I was trained on.
Here's what I think. Yeah. Now that is scary. That's scary right there, and very believable. I think the next thing they're going to do is, when you're asleep, the Roomba is going to wake up, and it's going to go out and it's go to your neighbor's house, and it's going to go around your neighbor's house, and then come back. And then it's going to tell you all the stuff that your neighbor had that you want. You know, the Roomba is going to help you keep up with the Joneses or Smiths or whoever lives next door. And then it's going to get jealous. Okay, it's because it's owned by Amazon. It's going to be scoping around, and maybe it sees you bring a box home from one of the big box stores. You bought a brand new TV, but you didn't get it on Amazon. You got it at a big box store. Well, Roomba is not going to like that. It's going to report it back to Amazon. Next thing you know, you're going to ask Alexa, hey, Alexa, get me the number for, connect me with Costco. And the little Roomba is going to wake up, and it's come over and knock the Alexa thing off the table and break it. And you're going to say, fix it. And it's going to say, I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Dave. Just like from 2001, A Space Odyssey. It's coming. It is coming. I believe it. So
I do.
So let's get to move on to something a little more enjoyable than the robot overlords, the food overlords. Oscar Mayer. Every time I talk about Oscar Mayer, I think of we've done a couple of stories on the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, which for those of you who don't know, that was Karen's ultimate dream job, to be the driver for the old Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. I think you'd be great at that.
I think so too.
You have the right personality. You have good driving skills. What more do you need?
Just my husband by my side.
I go to somebody to stand in the back and wait, that let you know when the wiener's not in the bun, as we say. So this is, believe it or not, this is from Oscar Mayer. This is a legitimate story. Oscar Mayer announced this week it will sell hot dog flavored popsicles called the Cold Dog. Yeah, the Cold Dog. I have a picture of the package here, because in case some of these stories are just too unbelievable. There it is.
Oh,
yeah, it's a real looking popsicle. They teamed up with a company called Pop Bar, which makes frozen desserts, and a gelato on a stick. So apparently this is hot dog colored gelato with some sort of yellow mustardy looking icing swirl on it. and it's the cold dog, and they say that it's both refreshing and smoky. Umami notes of Oscar Mayer's iconic wiener, all topped with a signature swirl of, in quotes, mustard. So first I had to look up umami, because I thought if your mommy's giving you this, you need to call Child Protective Services.
Yeah,
It's not a hot dog. But it's not that kind of umami. Umami, it's spelled UAMAMI, and it means it's meat flavor. So that's the technical term for something that tastes like meat. That flavor is called umami.
Huh.
So that's what it tastes like. Would you eat a cold would you eat a popsicle shaped like a hot dog?
No.
No. Would you? I would. I wouldn't eat one. I don't care what it smells like. I just hope it doesn't smell like a wet dog, not a hot dog.
Yeah, it just looks it looks like something you would give your dog.
Oh, there you go. Now, I've had owned plenty of dogs that would love to eat that. They'd eat the stick too.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this. When I first saw the story, it reminded me of corn dogs, which you can buy frozen. And I'm thinking, I've had frozen corn dogs in my freezer. I've never been so desperate or hungry for a cold treat.
No.
That I would go and eat a frozen corn dog, let alone something that looks like a corn dog, but is actually gelato. It smells like meat.
I agree.
But if you're interested, they are rolling this out in New York City, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Long Beach, also in New York State. So I'm just thinking, if in New York, the perfect time to roll out something like this frozen corn dog treat, is during the 4th of July hot dog eating contest at Coney Island.
Yep.
Because Joey Chestnut has won like 19 out of the past 20 years. They need to slip one of these into his pile of hot dogs. He gets to it. He has an ice cream headache. He can't go any further, and the number 2 guy finally wins.
Wow.
It could happen. It could
happen. Anything could happen in this world.
Okay, so this is an Italian story coming up next, and normally we would have our designated Italian guy, John DiNallo, here, but he's not here. So I'm going to ask you, Karen.
Okay.
Can you tell me what is a cannoli?
A cannoli?
A cannoli, yes.
Oh, that was my father's favorite dessert. It's this like rolled pastry with cream or cheese in it, and usually it's chocolate drizzled on the top.
Okay, you're close.
Okay.
A cannoli is 2 of those.
Really?
Cannoli, that's right. Cannoli is the plural of cannolo, which is one of those pastries that your father loves so much. So do I. I'm a huge fan of cannoli. And that's what we call them. But it probably because we Americans always eat 2 instead of 1. In Italy, they're cannolos.
Cannolos.
And a record was set this week by a team of chefs, and I want to get the name of the city pronounced correctly, Caltanissetta in Sicily. And I'll tell you why I want the name pronounced correctly here. There you go. That cannolo is 70 feet, 3.7 inches long. World record, filled with cream cheese, and I forget what else that goes into that filling. So they broke the record by like almost over 50 feet. The previous record was 16 feet. So they blew it out of the water with this thing. It looks kind of good. It's awfully big. It looks more like a sewer pipe, an actual cannoli size. The Godfather would see this and say, leave the bazooka, take the cannoli. Because it's you, or the cannon, I don't know, maybe. Here's a little cannoli or cannolo trivia for you, Karen, and everybody out there. The origins of the cannolo date back to 827, the year 827 in Caltanissetta, Sicily. That's where it was invented. So they're in the home of the original cannolo. And who invented it? Concubines.
Really?
I'm not going to explain what concubines are. I think everybody knows The concubines of the princes of Italy at the time were striving for the attention of the princes. So when their looks and their performance wasn't enough, they decided to bake something that would make them even more attractive. So they baked cannolis, and that's where it came. Now, I'm not going to get into why they in that particular shape or filled it. You can use your imagination on
Got
that.
it. Yes.
But by the way, there's a term for messing around. Excuse me, messing around with concubines bearing Italian pastries is called canoodling. That's where that term came from. How about that? Okay, so usually in my opening I talk about that we try not to talk about any political stories or business or any bad news, and I generally throw religion in there, but this is a religious story that is just perfect for What in the World. This one comes from Japan again. It's not a problem for us, but some people have a hard time praying. They have a hard time, especially in church. And some of them, they say in Japan, they go to church to find somebody, to find a new boyfriend or girlfriend, or maybe they're in a troubled relationship and they go to pray for guidance. What do I do? How do I get rid of this person? So there's a church in Japan that actually specializes in those kinds of prayers, specifically for breakups. In the United States, that church would be called Our Lady of Goodbyes. But this one, the Temple Mantakuji is the name of the temple, and it's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. It was recognized by the government centuries ago as a place where women could go to divorce their husbands. So they needed a special place. I think they were afraid of what might happen to them. So this was a safe place, a sacred place to go and divorce your husband. The church itself no longer does that, but they set up a museum called the Enkiradera Museum. And that name, Enkiradera, means the tie-cutting temple. So they still have a version of the divorce service, the praying for divorce and breakup there, but with a variation. So once people enter the museum, you pay $1.39 is the admission, huge fee, 200 yen. Then you purchase a set of papers, depending on whether you want to find a mate or get rid of a mate. So if you want to get rid of find one, the papers are white. If you want to get rid of them, the papers are black. Go figure. So you go and you get your black paper. It allows you to pray for a divorce or for a relationship to end. So you write your prayer down and your wishes. When you're done, then you go through a wooden gate. And once you're on the other side of the wooden gate, there's two doors. One for men. It looks like restroom. One for men, one for women. That's what it looks like, but it's not. It's to the door for breaking up and the door for finding a new person. So you go into the door that says breaking up, and this is what you find behind that door. You find toilets. What you do is you take your piece of paper and you put it in the proper toilet and you flush it down the toilet. And that is how your message gets to the God of your choice that
oh my God.
Break up. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait a second.
Yeah.
God lives in a toilet?
Toilet. That's right. That's right. This is a legitimate. I think it's the Shinto religion. So the toilets are Japanese toilet. For those of you who are not watching on YouTube or are not familiar with the Japanese toilets, they are on the ground. They are flat on the ground. So it requires squatting in order to use them in the toilet sense. You don't have to do that to flush your prayer down to the God that's going to break you up in your relationship. However, there is a sign written in Japanese behind it that says, do not use this for the other purpose, because they're only good for the prayers.
Oh my.
So I can just see a church in the United States, but especially a Catholic church, that would offer a service like this, where you flush your prayers down the toilet in order to have them answered. And the name of that church, of course, would be the Church of St. John.
Oh, good one.
There you go. All right. Well, we don't have our sports guy here yet back, but Karen, as we mentioned before, is probably as big of a baseball fan as John DiNallo is. So, Karen, this one is for you. And I mentioned before, we'd be talking about Ty Cobb's teeth. You remember? You've heard of Ty Cobb, right?
Well, a little story about Ty Cobb.
Okay.
He played. Originally, he played baseball on a barnstorming team. Okay. Oh. And my grandfather and his brother Joe played on that same team.
Wow.
Except when they came home and told my great grandmother that they made the team, she said, only bums play baseball.
As great grandmothers would do in those days.
Right. And so they had to quit the team.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were on the same barnstorming team.
Yep.
So it must have been a good team, obviously.
The Holland Wooden Shoes.
Oh, what a great name.
Yeah.
What a great name. Better than White Sox and Red Sox. Some of these other ones. The Holland Wooden Shoe. Right. Holland, Michigan?
Yeah. Well, actually, they played in Lansing, Michigan, and Holland's not far from there.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm familiar with Holland. Yeah. Great. So you are, he played for the Tigers.
Yep.
Way back when, 1905 to 1926, I think the original members of the Baseball Hall of Fame, and deservedly so. He still holds the record for the highest career batting average, which I believe is like 336, something like that. But this is not about his batting average. This is about his teeth. Did your grandfather say anything about Ty Cobb's teeth?
Nope, never.
Well, Karen, this is for you then. You have a connection to the real Ty Cobb. Yeah. Ty Cobb's teeth, his dentures, are up for auction. You can own a piece of your family history right there. Maybe a couple of degrees of separation, but still, these are SCP Auctions in California is auctioning off Ty Cobb's dentures. The upper and lower set, which I have pictured here, are included, along with a brass opening device. Now, I thought that might be so that you could make it spit, but I think it's just so you can display the teeth. You can show the inside and outside and show how it looked when Ty had his teeth clenched while he was facing some tough hitter, Walter Johnson, maybe somebody for a tough pitcher from back then. From what I hear, according to the auction site, if you do buy the teeth, if you hold them up to your ear, you can hear Ty Cobb swearing at an umpire. So,
I believe it.
Yeah. He was a notoriously tough player. The bidding closes has already started. How much would you pay for something like this, Karen?
$1.52.
Ty Cobb's teeth. There you go. About 10 cents a tooth. Yeah. There's a few missing. The bidding is already up to $14,000.
Oh my!
You can guarantee it's going to go for much more than that. For you baseball aficionados out there, Ty Cobb's lifetime batting average was 366, not 336, 366. That's an unbelievable career. So speaking of swearing, Karen, have you ever been on a Zoom call where, or maybe while you're doing a podcast and there's other people, your husband or your son are at home and you're saying things that you don't want them to hear? Have you ever been in that situation?
All the time.
All the time. Okay. So this is the product for you. This is, you can hear people talking on their phones all the time. And sometimes you wish that they had something that would allow them to talk, but you didn't have to listen to it.
Right.
Well, what this is. We have noise canceling headphones. Well, now we have noise canceling mouthpieces. And here's a picture of it here while I describe it. So Karen is already astonished. The company is called Shiftall, and it's a division of Panasonic. So it's a legitimate company. The product itself is called the Mew Talk, and it looks like, oh wow, how to describe it? It's not quite a carton that you would get a beverage in, but kind of an oval box shape, kind of like the virtual reality headset, around for your eyes, headset for your mouth. That's what it looks like. Because there's a guy here with the headset on, and the mouth is just a smaller.
Right.
It has a microphone and Bluetooth hardware, which picks up the user's voice, transmits it to another device like a smartphone or whatever you're talking to, and so no one else can hear. So it muffles their voice, but the people at the other end can hear just fine. It's supposed to reduce the intensity of high frequency voices up to 30 decibels, which is pretty high. So where have we seen something like this before, Karen? Have you something that allows you to speak without other people hearing you? Now you're of the right age to remember this. I'm sure if John were here, he would know.
Those tin cans with the string?
Tin can. Oh, go. Now you're really showing your age, Karen. I'm sorry. You must have seen a newsreel or your grandfather told you about it. You're not that old. No, what I'm thinking of, this sounds an awful lot like the cone of silence when they show Get Smart.
Yep.
The cone of silence. So it was a large plastic, two plastic containers that lowered down while Maxwell Smart and the chief were sitting across from each other at a desk when they wanted other people to not be able to hear them. And the joke was that while they were in the cone of silence, they couldn't hear each other either, but the people outside could hear them just fine. So one of my all-time favorite shows, Get Smart, written by the great Mel Brooks and Buck Henry, who passed away a few years ago. But Mel Brooks is still with us.
Yep.
Cone of Silence made its appearance in the pilot. That's how much they loved this gag. They just couldn't get enough of it. So it was in the pilot. They actually used it for the first time there. Some of the things that it did, it would in that original episode, the scientist who developed it was sitting outside, and he could hear them fine, but they couldn't hear them each other. It also echoed, so when they would get a headache when they came out. And one episode, the guy who was sitting outside could hear them, so he would go from side to side and get underneath and tell each one what the other one was saying, defeating the purpose of the cone of silence. So I thought, that's exactly what it is. All right, I'm going to take that picture down here. I'm going to do one more story here, and then we're going to get to the ghost. This is a research from England. England's been in the news all this week. We're not going to talk about the Queen or the King or any of those people over there, other than the Prime Minister, the Browns fan. Researchers from the University of Bristol Department of Anthropology and Archaeology, two departments that go together. They're studying the diets of people in Neolithic Britain. Now, Neolithic, John, I think he's back. So Neolithic.
Sorry, folks, I am back.
There you go. The Neolithic period of Great Britain was when Stonehenge was built. So we're talking about way back when, 6,000 years ago. So they're studying what people ate back in those days, and they're looking at stone containers that they found, and they're grinding the inside, and they're finding. So they've determined that 6,000 years ago in England, or what was England at that time, the meat was cooked in large pots to make stew, while cereal was cooked in small pots and mixed with dairy products to make gruel. So they use big pots to make stew. They use little pots to make gruel. 6,000 years later, the British are still eating that same diet. What they need to update the menu already. They don't even call it gruel. They know it's gruel. They call it porridge or something like that, but they know it's gruel. It's gruel. It's cereal and milk, and maybe they throw a little meat in there. But I love British food. That's the reason why I wanted to talk about this. The great names that they have for food. Gruel doesn't sound very appetizing, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It sounds terrible.
Okay, so here's some of the other ones that I've learned over the years by traveling to England and having a very dear friend, Simon in Houston, who's from England. Bangers and mash. Bangers and mash is sausage and mashed potatoes. Bubble and squeak, famous English dish, sausages potatoes and cabbage. Cabbage is obviously the squeak, and potatoes are the bubbles. Toad in the hole. John has introduced us to toad in the hole on a previous show. That is sausage inside a Yorkshire pudding.
That's correct.
Rumbledy thumps. I've never heard of this one. This is a side dish made from cabbage, potato, and onion. You get a theme here that the British like cabbage and potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a combination. No kidding. Yeah.
There you go. And then, of course, the one everybody remembers, spotted dick, which is fruit, suet, and custard. Dick is the term for custard, so that's where it comes from. And then there's mucky dripping. Now, I believe my friend Simon made this for us once. It's a type of gravy made from the juice left on the bottom of the roasting pan, which sounds like all gravy, but apparently they think that this is so mucky dripping. And finally, I heard a joke about this on some television show. Welsh rarebit. Are you familiar with Welsh rarebit? It sounds like such an exclusive dish served in expensive restaurants. It's a piece of toast with cheese whiz on it. That's what it is, melted cheese.
Cheese whiz. We're still trying to find what cheese whiz is exactly.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly.
The label is redacted.
To protect the innocent. To protect the innocent. That's why that's done like that. Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, since John is back, I think we'll go right to sports here. I'm gonna save these paranormal world records for next week. Most ghost in a castle. Also the oldest ghost ever found. So something to look forward to next week. I'm definitely, because I really enjoyed this story here. But John's got a very interesting story here that I know he's very anxious to talk to us about. Every week I ask John to find us a weird sport to talk about, one that we've hopefully never heard of before, one that we could possibly participate in, one that we could even maybe sponsor a league in Cleveland or a team. So I think that the sport John has this week meets all that criteria, which is very unusual, especially the part about all of us participating in it. And Karen, you can participate in this sport as well.
Wow, I'm excited now.
So, John, I have some visual aids besides our photograph.
Good. Thanks, Paul.
Along with you. So, go ahead and introduce it while I get our photos ready.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'll tell you, I think with the introduction, Paul is spot on. I think all three of us could participate in this sport. We could do it. It's just a question of do we want to or not. So our sport today, and listen closely in this. The name of the sport is sport stacking. Sport stacking, which is also known as cup stacking or speed stacking. Now, the name says it all. The sport involves stacking 9 or 12 cups in predetermined sequences as quickly as possible. Now, these cups are not fine china or the styrofoam ones in the office coffee bar. They are specifically designed to allow for speedier times in being able to stack them. Let's go to the origin. Speed stacking was invented.
What bar was this invented in?
Right. Well, no. In fact, you'll be interested to know about this, Paul, and the rest of our audience. So the sport was invented in 1981 in Oceanside, California, by a gentleman by the name of Wayne Godnet. He was working with kids, and they became bored by playing traditional sports. So he took paper cups, and he asked the children to stack them as fast as they could. Well, this activity became so popular he switched to sturdier plastic cups, but the problem was there that they stuck together. So the plastic cups were being used, but in the interest of speed and time, they could not be pulled apart and could not be stacked properly. So
I have a visual aid for us, John. Right here.
oh, those red cups haunt you after how many years? They haunt me in my dreams. And I'll make a quick aside here. I attended the Ohio State Notre Dame game a couple of weeks ago, and as we're driving through the area in Columbus where the fraternities and sororities are, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of red cups just strewn all over the front lawns. And I was just figuring out when they're going to be able to clean those up, but they weren't cleaning them up that night. But it kind of brought back some memories on that end.
That's exactly what the original cups look like. They look like the red beer cups that John is referring to. And I only have 3 because I can't handle any more than that.
Oh my gosh.
It's exactly as John said. There's a specific pattern, and you're supposed to very quickly unstack them and then stack them. This is 3. I've been able to do 3, but They go to 9 and then to 12. And then that's not the end. Then you have to unstack them. And then your turn is completed. And for those, I mean, it's unbelievable. This little kid right here, his hands are moving so fast that they're blurred in the photograph. So
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So back to GodNet, what he did was when he found that they were sticking together, he modified the cups by adding holes to the bottom of the cups. And he went so far as to establish his own company, and it's called the Carango Cup Stack Company. It's manufactured and then distributed these modified cups in all different colors, not just red. Now, by the end of the decade, by 1989, GodNet estimated he sold approximately 25,000 sets of cups. Not 25,000 cups, but 25,000 sets. Karen, this is for you.
Okay.
The sport is governed by the World Sport Stacking Association, and that association sets the simple rules for the games. So if you're playing this game legitimately, you're having to play it within the rules and confines of the World Sports Stacking Association. Paul was describing earlier how you do this, and here are some arrangements. In 3-3-3, 3 sets of 3 cups, each must be stacked going from left to right or right to left, and then down stacked into their original positions in the same order as the up stack. I'll repeat that. 3 sets of 3 cups each must be stacked going from left to right or right to left, and then down stacked into their original positions in the same
original
order.
Pile to use a non-technical.
Yes. Now, a variation of that is 3-6-3. It's similar, but it uses 12 cups. And the cycle is triple 3-6-3, where you do the standard 3-6-3 stack, then a 6-6 stack, then get this, a 1-10-1 stack, then back to the starting position. Now, quite honestly, if you're playing this sport, you've got to remember all these things. Okay, it's true hand-eye coordination and so forth. Now, if that sounds confusing, it's even worse trying to watch it. Now, Google sports stacking for yourself and check out the videos. Go ahead, just go under, get into Google, look under sports stacking.
I tried to get one of the videos.
You couldn't access it?
Why these are blurred? Because
Okay.
I tried to bring the video up. They're so fast. They are just so fast. You can't follow them. You have to slow it down in order to see the what they're doing.
Exactly right, Paul. That's exactly right.
Wow.
If you've ever been to New York and gone walking down the street and they play that game, hide the pea underneath the cup.
Yep.
And they move the cups around. That's how even faster than that. It is just so unbelievable.
So world champions and record holders run through the competitions that are held, actually, they, like you said, Paul, they do it in seconds. Now, players can compete against the clock or other players, and there are competitions that are held worldwide.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
had one picture. There was also two-person, where two people stand next to each other, and together, each one uses one hand, and they stack and unstack. That's even more unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Now, so anyway, there's the European Stacking Championships, and they took place in August of this year. And get this, the fastest overall male and female stackers in the 3-3-3 competition, they were Adam Turner, who was a male. He had a time of 1.681 seconds, and then Laura Beacom, a lady, with a time of 1.864 seconds.
Under two seconds.
We're milliseconds here on determining who can do it faster.
Unbelievable.
Now, this is definitely a sport. No, it's a sport. I mean, I think you would have to, by definition, because it's competition, whether you're competing against someone else or the clock. So it's a sport, but it's definitely a healthy one. I'll elaborate on this. Proponents claim that participants learn cooperation, ambidexterity, and hand-to-eye coordination, of course. A study at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse found that stacking improves hand-to-eye coordination and reaction time by 30%. And a study that was done at Texas Tech found that cup stacking utilizes both sides of the brain. So you're not only improving your hand and eye coordination, but it's, improving your thought processes and being able to remember things.
And it's played worldwide.
Worldwide. Now, cup stacking sounds like the perfect sport for those days when it's raining outside, like earlier today here in Cleveland, and you can't play pickleball. But just remember to save one cup with no holes for the beer after the game.
There you go. Right. Yeah. Put that one aside.
You can't be using the ones with the hole, when you're celebrating afterwards. So
these kind. That's right. As John was describing.
Again, those cups still haunt me, Paul. They still haunt me after all these years.
Cup stacking. What a weird sport. Cup stacking. And it's competitive. Look at they have official clocks here. They sell kits. They sell actual kits. I thought I had a picture of one where you buy a big box and it's got official cups with the holes in them, and it's got timers, and it's got all kind of great stuff. That guy, I admire the guy that founded this and figured out that he could make a fortune drilling holes in cups.
Yeah, he really did. Only in America.
Absolutely.
That's right. It started in America, but it seems like it's more popular.
It has gone worldwide, as we said before. Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, Joe, well, another great sport from John DiNallo, as always. And as always, at first I thought, I've never heard of this sport before. But then I went through my mind, and I went through my old diary from college, and I said, John and I played a sport something like this. In fact, I think you and I tried to start a cup stacking league when we were in college together. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that, Paul, as a matter of fact. It's still hazy, but I do remember that.
Well, to help your memory, I have a photo of us of what it turned into. Our cup stacking competition pretty much turned into beer pong.
Yes, yeah.
Look at that beer pong table.
And I can picture you two doing.
There you go. That's it.
It's hand and eye coordination. It's of course enjoying the beer on top of it. So
that's right. Curling, good for your biceps.
Sure.
Anyways, all right. Well, cup sharing, cup stacking. I don't even remember. So that's funny that you saw all those cups down there. I apologize for showing this again. But those are the kind of cups that they use. He even, I was so impressed. He even puts little grooves in them, not the circular grooves, but vertical, so that the cups slide better. So much thought went into this. It's really
it is a lot of thought. It is a lot of thought. No kidding.
More thought than I would have given it.
There you go.
That's right. Speaking of mind-boggling, I think it's time for Bluff the co-host. Everybody's
can't wait to play.
Game. John was 3-0 last week, so I know he's anxious to play. If you haven't been listening to the show before, Bluff the co-host is a game where I use stories similar to the ones we've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference, Those stories were real. The stories I use in Bluff the Co-host may be real, may be a bluff. And it's up to John and Karen and you playing at home to determine what they are. Gambling is allowed. We're a very popular sport in Las Vegas. So place your bets. John and Karen, put your hand on the buzzer. Get ready for story number 1. Oh, we do have a theme this week. Let's see if you can pick up on the theme. Okay. Most people who buy electric vehicles do it to save on fuel costs. A doctor in Texas is using his to perform vasectomies. The doctor drives an electric pickup truck. Did I mention this is in Texas?
Yes, you did.
And keeps it parked in front of his clinic. When the power went out while he was performing a vasectomy on his patient, the doctor's staff found an extra long extension cord, connected it to the electrical socket in his electric pickup truck, and plugged in his vasectomy tool and some lights. Completed the operation. Everything turned out fine, and the patient now has a great story to help meet women. You might call it the perfect pickup line. All right, so Karen and John, the doctor who used his electric pickup truck to finish a vasectomy when the power went out, real or bluff?
You know, you mentioned the state called Texas. Therefore, this has to be real.
Because of the vasectomy or the pickup truck?
Both.
All of the above. Okay, we will take that answer. So Karen says it's real. John, how about you?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's real also. I mean, I like your ending to that. You know, I mean, with the pickup truck to the pickup line, I mean, it's got to be real. It's got to be real.
Okay, so John says it's real. Karen says it's real. John was rubbing his Lucky Browns hat there. And we'll check with the judges, and the judges say congratulations to both of you. That is a real story.
All right, Karen,
Yay!
way to go. Starting off good again.
Austin, that's where that was from. Our longtime listener, Mark, lived down in Austin. So Mark, that story was for you. Okay, so scores 1-1. Let's get right to story number 2, hand on the buzzer. Medical stories here, that's our theme. Everybody knows the slogan for a certain popular potato chip. Bet you can't eat just one. Well, a doctor in Lithuania has developed a line of diet potato chips whose slogan should be, bet you can't finish one. To help his overweight patients learn to eat sensibly, the doctor has created a line of flavored potato chips that look delicious, but taste like rotten eggs, spoiled fish, and the taste of dirty socks. He tells his patients that they have to eat at least one stinky chip per day, and by the end of the bag, they will no longer have the urge to eat potato chips. The bags cost $20 each, but he claims no one has ever had to buy a second bag. All right, John and Karen, let's start with John. The stinky potato chips that you can only eat one, that a doctor developed to help his patients lose weight. Real or bluff?
I'm going to say real because it's just strange enough to be real. It's just, I mean, think of that. I mean, never heard of anything like this, but it stands to reason in a way. I'm going to say it's real.
John says it's real. Okay, Karen, how about you?
Well, you know, I really shouldn't be agreeing with John just because then we could be, you know, on different ends of the spectrum. But I'm going to agree with him because, you know, it just makes sense.
It does?
Well, I mean, with the motivation,
Yeah, it does.
to help his patients, right? To help his patients. I mean, he's doing something that's going to hopefully help them. It's kind of a roundabout way to do it, but no.
Yeah, okay. All right. So both Karen and John say that the doctor who makes stinky potato chips to help his patients lose weight in Lithuania is real. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, sorry, that was a bluff.
Oh,
Really?
And
was the doctor in another country and was not in Lithuania, possibly?
No, but it was inspired by a story. And I mentioned our good friend Mark down in Austin. Mark will know the story that inspired it. And we'll talk about that later.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Okay, so let's see. The score is still tied 1-1. We have one more story, and points are doubled. Doesn't really matter because John and Karen are tied. So let's see. Everybody pay close attention here for story number 3. Fall is just about here, and that means it's time for corn mazes, those fun fields to spend an afternoon getting lost in. A fitness center in Nebraska thinks its cornfield can be put to a better and healthier use, so it has converted 2 nearby fields into exercise cornfield. The fields have been laid out in extra challenging patterns, and the center, the fitness center, holds competitions to see who can run through the maze the fastest. For those who want a more challenging workout, one field has bushels of corn that must be lifted 10 times every time a maze runner passes them. The fitness center says its regulars love the workout maze for a change of pace, and it has helped sell plenty of new memberships as a result. The enterprising owner has filed a copyright for the concept under the name corn conditioning. All right. So we have the fitness center in Nebraska that has turned a corn maze into real exercise. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
Well, I happen to like this idea because, it gets us outside to exercise and we get to have the spirit of the holiday. So I'm going to say it's real.
Okay, Karen likes the idea. She says it's real. John, how about you?
I'm going to say it's real too, because I agree with Karen. I think that it's a good thing and it's something that could benefit people. So I'm going to say it's true.
Wow. Okay. So both Karen and John, would either one of you participate in it? It sounds like you would.
I don't know. It depends how strenuous it would be. I mean, I have to analyze that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm like anybody else. I mean, but I don't know if I want to go out on a limb on that one, Paul.
All right. Okay. So John and Karen both say that story is real. Let's check with the judges. And the judges have 2 answers. Their first answer is sorry at the bluff. But secondly, yes, it sounds like we should try it. What do you say? The guy made a drilling holes in the bottom of the cups to make corn. What is it? Cup stacking? I think corn conditioning sounds like a really good idea.
I think it's a great title, by the way, corn conditioning. It's just that we have to have enough motivation to do it. I mean, it's like there's great thoughts and great ideas every day, right? It takes people with enough gumption to actually make it happen. I don't know if we are those people.
Well, John, okay, I'm putting a challenge to you, John. I want you to plant some corn because next year we're going to do corn conditioning in your yard.
Wait a minute, I got to check with the net about that. I don't think so. I don't think my neighbors would appreciate. They'll say, "What's going on? First of all, why are you growing corn in your backyard? And what are all these people doing there?" We're a real quiet street that we live on here. I don't know if that's going to go, guys. I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Tell them what I tell my neighbors whenever they complain about the weird things I do in my yard. I could be raising chickens, So
you could be like a hipster. You could be a hipster raising chickens in your backyard.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, we've reached the end of another great What in the World. I hope everybody had as much fun as we did doing this show. I want to thank Karen Hale, our media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our co-host, producer, all around good sport as always. Thank you, Karen, for and also doing double duty while John was off in.
That was difficult. Yeah, real difficult.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen. Appreciate you. Well, at any rate, somebody had to cover for me.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, that's right. And you hear his voice. I want to thank my old buddy John DiNallo. What in the world of sports and color commentary and all around good guy. Let's hope we see a winner so that John can wear his Browns uniform again next week.
I think that'll be a theme for this year. I think that I'll have different Browns outfits on the following Tuesday from when the Browns play. I do have enough, by the way. I do have enough.
For sure you do.
Much to Annette's chagrin, okay, much to her chagrin, I do have various outfits. So if they win on Sunday against the Jets next Tuesday, I'll have a different Browns outfit on.
Different Browns outfit, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like fun. Okay, well, here's my cups. I'm going to go stack some cups. I'm going to get myself a workout today. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in on whatever platform you're on. Please like us, follow us, do all that other good stuff. And we will see you again next week.